that there are no chairs. And then we do. We stoop like overgrown teenagers while Mrs. Robson brings plates to the table. There is a strange gravitational pull in my backside. I wonder where I can put it down. Keeping my head still, I swivel my eyes from side to side. A windowsill, a pot plant, Mrs. Robson's handbag, no? There really is nothing to sit on here. Well, bon appetit, chirps Mrs. Robson, taking her place at the head of the table and smiling at me because I was the one that brought her mail. Don't smile at me, I think, and then I smile back. The Robsons pick up their cutlery and begin to eat, slick and silent. Thus far, our company has not dared look at one another, but now, slowly, we raise our eyes. I look questioningly at Johnny. Johnny looks nervously at Daphne. Daphne looks wide-eyed and knowingly into space. Evidently, she has a theory. I decide I may as well get on with it. Shrugging hungrily, I take out my knife and fork, place my feet shoulder-width apart, slightly bend my knees, crane my neck forwards to avoid spillages. The first 3 or 4 minutes of the meal go reasonably well. The conversation sticks to business. Mr. Robson informs us he's a motivational speaker for car salesmen who've lost their oomph. Daphne takes a moment to cross-examine him. Are you into cars yourself, Paul? She asks. I don't think I've seen yours parked outside. No, he begins. We like the fresh air, fills in Harriet. We prefer to walk. Daphne nods slowly, as if she was expecting this answer. I realise she's trying to find out if the Robsons ever sit down. Sure enough, I don't remember seeing a sofa in their living room, and now they confess they don't take the driving seat. I would think about this further, but there is a piece of spaghetti hanging out of my mouth, and because I'm still shaking from the coffee, before I can rescue it, it falls out and drops to the floor. I try kicking it under the table, which leaves a bright tomato smear on the cream carpet. I look up to see if anyone's noticed. Everybody's busy twisting or slurping spaghetti, except Johnny, who's cutting his up into paranoid 2-inch pieces. I rub at the smear a bit more with the tip of my shoe and decide that now might be an okay time to reveal my weak bladder, plus standing's only increasing the pressure down there. I excuse myself and look as instructed for the second door on the right. At the first door on the right, I pause. A plain white door, closed. I wonder. Behind it, I imagine rows of chairs, tied to each other and gagged. Help, save us, they call out to me with muffled voices. I hurry to the next door and find the bathroom. I'm relieved to find that the Robsons have a regular sit-down toilet. I sit on it for a few moments longer than I need to, enjoying the bent-legged, light-footed sensation, letting the blood pump up and down my calves and thighs. When I get back to the table, Johnny is chewing his lip on edge as Mr. Robson is chopping up some ciabatta with a large bread knife. Opposite him, Daphne's looking a bit pissed off, moving gently from foot to foot. I resume a standing position and lock my knees. Before long, Daphne returns to a previous topic. Don't you find it difficult to talk motivationally about selling cars when you don't like driving cars yourself? Not at all, Mr. Robson explains, gesticulating with the knife, causing Johnny to flinch wildly. My motivation is getting paid to talk, Mr. Robson continues, getting as many people as I can through the door. Daphne nods. Bums on seats. We all pause and wince at her turn of phrase. We finish the meal in silence, hunched like feeding cattle, unchewed spaghetti coiling in the pits of our stomachs. Daphne would have turned red with embarrassment by now if the blood hadn't drained to her feet. Mr. Robson clicks down his knife and fork to 6:30 on his plate. I wonder what the real time is, hopefully not long enough to develop deep vein thrombosis. He gives a contented ah, which his wife concludes with a deep and this signals that dinner is over. With spinning heads, we wait for someone to make the first after-dinner move. Slowly, Mr. Robson reaches up to his breast pocket. He taps it like I tapped the door earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's tapping something that bulges, like a wallet or a gun. Daphne gasps. Johnny whimpers. Won't you join us for some drinks in the other room? Asks Mrs. Robson brightly. The other room. The room next to the bathroom, with the closed white door, the room with all the chairs in. They'll tie us to the chairs and gag us, I think, light-headed. No, oh, thanks, no, think I'd better get off. The group declines woozily. Without another word, we file out of the dining room and then their front door. Nervous, dizzy, disappointed. We stagger into our fully furnished flat next door and sit down. We think we hear a gunshot in the night, but it could be the sound of a chair breaking. Thanks.